Now, a number of things I'll be talking about today may not be things that you'll be hearing for the very first time. Okay, sometimes repetition brings a lasting impression, brings a lasting penetration. Sometimes it's just hearing same things from a different person or from a different perspective helps you to get better understanding. So I'm going to be talking about a number of things today, and what I will be talking to you about today is how to build a global brand, how to build businesses without borders. And I've kind of subtitled that, how to expand your brand globally. Now, the speaker that came before me, Funke, has done a fantastic job. So a number of things are not going to be very new to you, that things you would have heard before. So I'm just going to continue with that. Now, the thing is, in today's world, right, we are so very, very interconnected in our world today. Our world has become what we call a global village. And this was also compounded by the advent of the pandemic, right? Everything is now closely knitted together. The pandemic collapsed all the boundaries and all the borders and all of that we have around us, and has introduced us to an era of what we call borderlessness. That is the environment that we are living in now. I mean, your playing field is no longer your locality around you, but your playing field is now the world at large. And Funke rightly mentioned earlier, look at all of us right now. We are having a conference from different parts of the world. I am joining you from Ireland. Funke spoke from Nigeria. EJ, energetic EJ, is going to be joining us, I think, from the UAE. All of us are coming together as if we're together in the same room, even though we are thousands of miles apart. That is the kind of world it is that we are experiencing today. However, building a global brand, or a brand that resonates with all your customers in different countries and cultures and all of that, can be a very, very challenging task. To demystify today, so how do you get to build this brand that will be able to cut across cultures and countries? But to get started, the first thing I would like to talk about is, what are the key elements of building a brand in the first place? I know Fire Emeka took us through branding and all of that. I mean, those are branding specialists and all of that. So I'm not going to delve too much in that. Just to talk about a few things about why or how, what are the key elements you need in building a brand in the first place. Now, you need to understand, because some people find when we're talking about branding, I feel, I don't have a business, or I don't have this, I don't have that. You are a brand. Whether you are here, you're a career professional, you are a brand in your own person. So you have what is called the personal brand, and then you have what is called the corporate brand or your company brand. So you are a brand, whether you have a business that you're selling, whether you work for someone, whatever it is you do, you are a brand. So how do you get to build a brand? What are the key things to look out for in building a brand? The first thing I'll talk about is start with a dream. Start with a dream. You know, it is said that everything has been created twice. First in your mind, and then with your hands. Everything has been created twice. First in your mind, and then with your hands. So before you go ahead to build that brand it is that you want in the physical with your hands that people can see, you need to have built it in your mind. That's where it starts from. And the thing about imagination is the only nation where you have no boundaries. You don't need to pay a visa. You don't need to pay a fee to have imagination. It is your imagination. If I want to dream that I have the wealthiest company in the world, nobody can arrest you for what you have thought in your mind. It is your imagination. So it starts with a dream. This is one of the most important essentials for starting a business, because you need to have clear vision or dreams about what it is you want to achieve. I know a lot of people here, we're talking about business and all of that, but I also have the consciousness that some people might not be in business right now. Maybe you're planning to go into business, so you're a career professional now, you're planning to start up a business and all of that. I'm always conscious of that. So what is the dream of what you want to achieve? The dream should be something that inspires you and aligns with your passion and values. I'll talk a bit more about this later. Now, when I teach or coach or train people, I usually talk from three perspectives, right? I talk from statistics. Like Mr. Bolaji said, my first degree was in statistics. So I like to deal with a lot of statistics. It helps me to make things clearer. So I deal with statistics. I deal with science, and depends on the environment it is that I am speaking as well, I deal with scriptures. Okay, don't worry, I'm not going to be quoting scriptures here because I understand that we have different people from different cultures and backgrounds and all of that on this call right now. So I'll be focusing a lot more on science and statistics. Now, according to a research, having a clear vision is critical to your business, with 64% of successful entrepreneurs citing this as a key factor for them to succeed. So before you can succeed in your brand, in your business, whatever it is, having a vision is clear. So that's the first thing. Start with a dream. The second thing is learn to fail. Learn to fail. Now, let me mention a couple of people to you. You probably know these people as well, and let's find out what is common to all of these people. Have you heard of Thomas Edison before? That was the guy that created the light bulb. Have you heard of J.K. Rowling? She's the author behind the Harry Potter series and all of that. Have you heard of Oprah Winfrey? Okay, obviously you probably have. She's one of the most successful TV hosts today. Have you heard of Walt Disney before? Have you heard of Colonel Sanders, the guy behind the JFK brand? Have you heard of Abraham Lincoln? That's one of the greatest presidents America has had. Have you heard of Stephen King before? What do all these people have in common? They are all failures. Every one of them failed severely at one point in their journey. Thomas Edison was said to have failed over 900 times at the attempt to make the light bulb. J.K. Rowling was rejected by several publishing companies. They told her, your stories they are not marketable. Today, she's $1 billion author with her Harry Potter franchise. Look at Oprah today. She's one of the richest Black women in the world, if not the richest in the world today. And she was once told that her brand could not be marketed. Look at Walt Disney. Look at Colonel Sanders. He had been retired. He was, I think, in the 60s thereabout when he started the KFC franchise. This is someone that they had told he couldn't succeed in life. Look at Abraham Lincoln. He tried to be president over and over and over and over again. Eventually, he got there. Look at Stephen King. See, the thing is, our society, right, has taught us that failure is a terrible thing. And we all go around with that consciousness, oh, you cannot fail, you cannot fail. And think about this. I don't know what environment it is that you're joining me from right now. I know this is a global conference, so people are joining. But for those of us that grew up probably in the western part of Africa, or even in Nigeria particularly, I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. You could imagine that when you were in school and probably your teacher asked you to say the times table and you failed at doing that, what would happen? You probably would get a serious beating. That is the kind of environment. So we had grown up to see failure as something terrible. You wanted to avoid it. But the thing is, genuinely successful people were once failures before. So if you have never failed at anything before, it only means you have never tried anything outstanding before. You have only been playing within your comfort zone. That's the only thing that is happening. In the actual sense, I say to people, failure does not exist. It is only a way, a how to discover how not to do something. That brings me to a story that I heard about a CEO. He hired one young guy. He was into the stock market and all of that in the US. They hired this young guy, and a couple of weeks after he got into the job and all of that, he made a stock deal, and he lost $500,000. $500,000. So, and he felt, this is the end, my career is over. So the next day, he went to work with his resignation letter, and he went and then he went to his boss and he said, okay, well, I know my time here is up. This is my resignation letter. And his boss said to him, come here. You have just lost the company $500,000. But the thing is, you have learned a mistake that is $500,000 worth. He said, I have invested that money for you to learn how not to do business for me. Do you think I'm going to let you go away just like that? You carry that experience and go and use it to help someone else on how not to lose $500,000. He said, now you have learned what you did wrong to lose the $500,000. You are now an asset to me. I can't let you go because your experience would help me so that I would never lose that kind of money again. That is the kind of mindset you should have about failure. That is what many of us do not have. Failure is an inevitable part of an entrepreneur's journey. So you need to learn to fail. The next thing I'll talk about very quickly, I'm conscious of my time. I'm going to try. There's so many things to say. All right. I'll try to deliver as much value as I can within the time that I have here with us. Now, the next thing is mind your success. Now, I have a coaching program, and this is one topic that I could actually speak on for days on ending. Imagine I have an iPhone 14, for example. Okay, very sleek phone, ultra, and all of that. But somehow the software of that phone has been corrupted. As fantastic as the mobile phone is, iPhone 14, if the software is corrupt, that phone is useless. Even if I have a 97 megapixel camera on it, even if the hard disk is 1,000 gigabytes or whatever, if the software is corrupt, that phone is useless. A lot of us today, we are packaged with so many giftings, so many talents, so many abilities. Those are the hardware. Those are like what we compare to the cameras and all of that of the iPhone. However, our software that is supposed to run those giftings, those talents and all of that has been corrupted by the things that have gone into our mind. And the unfortunate thing is, while growing up, so it's like, imagine I take out the iPhone 14 when it's brand new. I need to start installing software into this mobile phone for it to be able to function. While you were growing up, unknown to you, people, your environment were installing softwares in you that you did not know. Those are the softwares that are helping you to run today. So you're thinking about how do you react to financial matters, for example. It is someone that has installed a software while you were growing up. So the question is that the right software you should be having? If it is not the right software, what do? You can delete the software, you can upgrade the software, but the one thing for you to do is sit down and say, well, this is how I am. That's what the mindset does to you in terms of success. So there's a difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. I don't have time to talk about all of this today because of our time, but it is very, very important to talk about this. Now, when we are talking about success, we need to understand that there's a difference between growth, progress, and success. They sound similar. Growth, progress, success. Let me quickly differentiate them for you. Now, growth is an increase in material possessions. Okay? So increase in money, increase in customers. Fuke was just talking about customers, increase in sales and all of that. That is growth. However, progress is growth plus ethics. What do we mean by ethics? Discipline, honesty, your norms, etc. So until your growth has been gotten in an ethical manner, it is not progress. We have a lot of people that are doing very dubious things around the world. Unfortunately, I'm from Nigeria. We've heard a lot of very terrible cases about Nigerians all over the world, especially with online scams and all of that. Now, they are growing. Their finances may be growing. The number of houses they own, the number of cars and all of that may be growing. Does not mean it is progress. Because if it is not in addition to ethical values, then it is not progress. Now, what is success? Now, success is when the progress comes in alignment with morality, humanity, and spirituality. So in other words, success is an increase in material or whatever, in addition to ethics, in addition to your morality, your humanity, and your spirituality. Now, the next thing I'll talk about very quickly, number 4, find your bliss. Find your bliss. It is important to find a business that aligns with your passions and interests. This would help you to stay motivated and focused and achieve your dreams. There's a concept called Ikigai, which is part of what I teach on my coaching program as well. Now, the Ikigai concept is a Japanese concept that talks about 4 major areas. It talks about your passion, your mission, your profession, and then your vocation. Now, let me try and explain them very quickly. What is your passion? Passion is that thing you can do I mean, wake up in the middle of the night, someone wakes you up, oh, can you do this for me? And you do it and you not even feel that you have done it. For example, some people can cook the whole day and they will not even feel it. They love to do it. However, your mission is what you have been created to do. Like your purpose. You know, Dr. Miles Monroe of Breast Memory would always say, if the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. So the fact that I am passionate about something does not mean that is what I have been created to do. Let me take myself for example. I love driving, right? When I was much younger, I used to drive days for the fun of it. Myself and my friends would just get into the car, we'll take a 5-hour journey here, the next day we'll drive back and all of that. But is that what I was created to do? I don't think so. What I'm created to do is empower people. I call myself an evangelist in the marketplace, which is what I am doing right now. So your passion is what you love to do. But the thing is this, we live in an environment, we live in an era that you can actually monetize any passion that you have. Have you seen where we have people that are called professional slappers? Have you seen that competition before? What they do is they come together and you are slapping me, I'm slapping you, and we see the first person to go down. And they are making huge money from it. And I was thinking to myself, in Nigeria, I mean, like I said, I grew up in Nigeria, so apologies for those that are not from Nigeria. In Nigeria, we have, these military guys that we say they have a specialty. They have PhDs in slapping people. And I was thinking, can these people think about monetizing these skills rather than using it to oppress innocent citizens? That's the kind of era we are. Some people have been able to monetize traveling. All they do for a living is travel on vacations, and they are paid to travel to have fun. Can you imagine? That's the era that we live in. You can monetize anything. So your passion is what you can do for free, even when you can earn a fee for it. Your mission is what you have been created to do. Your profession is what you have been trained to do. Your vocation is what you are paid to do. Now, I may be trained as a medical doctor. Does not mean I'm paid as a medical doctor. We have Dr. Sid. He's a medical doctor by profession. He's a musician by vocation. So, Ikigai talks about when your passion, what you love to do, is what you have been created to do, is what you have been trained to do, and is what you are now doing for a living. When those four things align, it is called Ikigai, and I call it bliss. Find that bliss, and your life will be made easy. Number 5, very quickly. Track, measure, and communicate. Track, measure, and communicate. Tracking and measuring your business performance is critical for success, and it helps you identify areas of improvement and make informed decisions. It is very, very important. Now, like it's always said, what is not measured cannot be improved. I don't care the kind of anointing, the kind of intelligence that you have. Whatever you don't measure, you cannot increase it. Until you can measure that thing. The only way I can talk about increasing my finances is because I can measure it. I have $1,000, I have $1 million, I have $1 billion. It can be measured. I can measure the amount of customers that I have. I have 300 customers, I have 500 customers. If I cannot measure it, I cannot improve it. I cannot grow it. Now, when we're talking about measurements as well, we need to understand many times people focus on the quantitative measurement. There are two kinds of measurements, right? There's a quantitative measurement, which has to do with figures. So I'm just giving you an example. Money, how much money am I making? How many customers do I have? All of those are quantitative measurements. But sometimes we also measure what is called qualitative measurements. What is qualitative measurement? So take, for example, we are all on this conference together today. Mr. Bolaji has put together a fantastic conference like this today. One of the quantitative measurements could be how many people registered for the conference. So, we want 1,000 people to join the conference. We want 2,000 people to join the conference. That is a quantitative measurement. But then a qualitative measurement could be how many people do we want their lives to change as a result? What kind of impact do we want in the lives of those that join the conference? Now, that is a qualitative measurement. So I may have only 10 people. I may not have met my quantitative targets in the sense that I had only 10 people instead of 50 people join my conference. But my qualitative measurement will mean that these 10 people that joined my conference, oh my goodness, they were wowed. Funke was just talking about the wow experience. They were wowed. So even though I may fall short on my quantitative measurements, but my qualitative measurements help me to achieve a lot more as well. And then communication is key. You know, I say to people that the best known talent will always beat the best talent every day. The best known talent will always be the best talent. So if you have two people, they have equal talents, equal giftings and all of that. But one of them knows how to communicate his talent and the other one does not know how to communicate it. That one that knows how to communicate it, even though he may not even be better, he will get the job ahead. Now, the thing is this. Imagine I'm here right now speaking to you and I'm hoping I'm delivering value to you today. So I know I have a lot of value to deliver to you, but imagine I came here and I was speaking to you in Chinese. No matter the amount of value that I have to bring to you today, if you cannot understand me, it is a waste of your time and my time as well. A lot of us are struggling because we are not communicating the value we have in the language of the people that need the value. So we have this value, we can solve so many people's problems in the world, but we have not been able to communicate that value to those that can actually pay us for the value. And that is where the problem is. That is why communication is key. I'm going to move very quickly. Let's go to the sixth one, which is start it and stick to it. Start it and stick to it. It is important to focus on growing your business over time while staying committed. You know, some people move from one place to the other. Oh, they said it is online gaming that is working now. Everybody has moved there. Oh no, they said it's Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin. They moved there. Start it and stick to it. Find out from all these successes. I just gave you examples of people that failed over time. Eventually, they became successful. If they had given up on it and moved somewhere else, we will not hear their stories today. Start it and stick to it. According to research, 82% of successful entrepreneurs said that they focus steady on incremental growth rather than rapid expansion. So it's not just about how quickly you expand. Focus, slow and steady. Daily growth is better than momentarily large growth. So daily minute growth is much more important than having large growth all at once. Now, there are so many things to talk about this. I'm going to stop it there. I'm watching my time. So now I'm going to talk about the keys to building a global brand. We've just talked about the keys to build a brand generally. And we've talked about how you are also a brand. Whatever it is you do, you are a brand. Now, what are the keys to build a global brand? Before I go ahead, I would like to talk about the types of brands. Okay, and I usually try to base them based on influence. There are different types of brands based on influence. The first brand is what I call a local brand. A local brand. Now, what is a local brand? A local brand is a brand where you operate within your locality. Your customers are within your locality. So I sell maybe clothes, okay? And the people that patronize my business are people within my locality. Maybe I live in Lagos, Nigeria, and people in Lagos, Nigeria, or people in my estate buy from me and all of that. That is a local brand. The next stage to that is an international brand. An international brand, okay? Now, what is an international brand? Now, my influence has gone beyond my locality. It is no longer just the people that are in my locality that purchase my products. Okay, the people that are so I have an international appeal for my product. I may live in Lagos, Nigeria. I sell clothes in Lagos, Nigeria, but now I'm beginning to have outlets in different parts. So maybe I have an office in Ghana. I have an office in a shop outlet in South Africa and all of that. I have an international appeal. People that begin to purchase my products outside my locality. Now, there's what is called a global brand as well. Now, what is a global brand? What is the difference between an international brand and a global brand? With an international brand, even though you have customers not within your locality, but primarily your customers in the international community are people from your locality. Let me give you an example. We have a number of financial institutions that have Nigerian banks, for example. I know a number of people here are Nigerian, so I'm going to be using a number of Nigerian examples. We have a number of Nigerian financial institutions that have branches, for example, in London. Okay? Now, but the people that are using, I don't want to call it the brand, okay, let me just call GTB. The people that are using GTB in London are Nigerians, essentially, that are living in London. But you have a global brand when the people that are using your brand, or that have the influence of people you have in the international community, are not necessarily people from your locality, but people from that locality that you have the brand in. Take, for example, Coca-Cola, which is one of the strongest brands in the world. If you come to Nigeria, the people that drink Coca-Cola the most are not Americans or the Europeans or the Western people. They are Nigerians. If you go to Singapore, the people that drink Coca-Cola are Singaporeans. If you come to the UK, the people that drink Coca-Cola are British people. That is a global brand. The international, a global brand, because the people that are purchasing or that are using this brand in the international community are from the locality where it is based, not from where it started from. Now, there is a last one that has been added to it as a result of the pandemic. What is that? I've called it the local brand. In that case, I am operating from my locality. Right? I am not living Lagos, Nigeria. I don't even have any international brand anywhere in the world. I have no branch, I have no office anywhere in the world. My office is in Lagos, Nigeria. However, people in South Africa have my products. People in Australia have my products. They all have my products. Not people from my locality. Australians are using my products in Australia. The UK people are using my products in the UK. Americans are using my products in America. Now, that level has been brought in because of the pandemic. The world is now a global village. I can sit down in my room and have coaching clients all over the world, which I do right now. That is the global brand. So those are the 4 types of brands that we have. Now let's talk about the key elements. How do you get to grow this brand? Number 1, understand cultural differences. Understand cultural differences. Now, cultural awareness is important for building a global brand. I mean, Funke talked about something during her session. In America, if you go to America, right, tip is compulsory. In fact, they will tell you the percentage that you are supposed to give as tip. It is not in your bill, but it is an unwritten law. You dare not go pay for goods in America and not drop a tip. It is an unwritten law. But in Japan, it's different. So if you don't understand those cultural differences and the cultural awareness, you would not be able to tailor your services to each person or each peculiarity. It is very, very important. It's very important. Another thing is, it can help impact your branding and marketing strategies. If you understand how these people think, how they operate, if you want to have a global brand, then you need to understand how the things operate in the global markets. I'll give you my own personal experiences. I like to use my personal experiences when I talk to people as well. Even when I was still in Nigeria, right, I always had an international appeal to what it is I was doing. So when I started hosting my virtual conferences and all of that, I started off with holding virtual conferences, but with Nigerians in the diaspora. I had Nigerians that were living in Nigeria on my conferences, but then I graduated to start having Nigerians in the diaspora on my conferences. Later on, because I wanted to spread beyond Nigerians in the diaspora, I wanted to graduate from being an international brand to being a global brand. I started working with people that were not Nigerians in the international community. So I work with Caucasians, I work with the Indians, I work with all of those people used to speak at my conferences, my virtual conferences when I started and all of that. When I relocated from Nigeria in 2021 and I got here to Ireland, right? Because I was in a different environment, my mind and all of that I knew from my environment in Nigeria was quite different from here in Ireland. I wanted to work with a sales coach or a marketing coach that was from this environment. Now, there are fantastic marketing coaches all over the world, sales coaches. I mean, one of the people I work with, I call the finest coach out of Africa, Paul Fo. But I wanted to work with someone that had the cultural understanding of a number of people. So I work with a lady in the UK. She used to live in the UK. She's relocated now. She used to live in the UK, but she was, I think, Indian or something. But she was living in the UK. She was born and brought up in the UK and all of that. I worked with her because I wanted to understand the mindset of the Asians, the mindset of the UK, and she also worked with people. I mean, this is someone that works with Grant Cardone on a weekly basis. She has meetings with Grant Cardone and all of that. She has eventually relocated to the UAE now. Why was that important for me? Because I wanted to understand cultural differences of the people I want to meet. It is very, very key. Another thing is you need to conduct cross-cultural market research. Now, you can do this through surveys, asking questions. Thank God, even WhatsApp now, you can do polls and all of that on WhatsApp. You see people on LinkedIn, they're doing a lot of polls and everything. You're doing research. You want to find out, what do these people want? Funke talked about it. It is not about what you want. It is about who you are trying to please or you're trying to meet. When I started my conferences as well, I used to do my conferences in the mornings, okay? 10 a.m., 11 a.m. in the mornings, my virtual conferences, because I understood in Nigeria back then, I mean, Saturday mornings were about the only time people had to, okay, let me go sit and watch this conference. But then when I realized that most of the people that were interested in attending my conferences were not in Nigeria. So I have people that were in the US, I have people that were in the UAE and all of that. And I said, okay, so if I start a conference at 10 a.m. in the morning, for the guy in the United States, it's about 5 a.m. in the morning for him. Nobody's going to wake up at 5 a.m. to join my conference in America. So I thought about it. If I need to reach these people, I need to have a shift. I shifted my conferences from 11 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. in the evening. So that by 6 p.m. in the evening, it is 12 noon in America. It is 9 p.m. in the UAE. Those are the things you need to do if you want to reach a global brand. I'm checking on my time. Oh wow, time is really going. Okay, let's go on with this. Now, the second thing is develop a global brand strategy. What does this include? Your vision, your mission, and your core values. Your vision is an idea of where you want to go. Your mission is how you want to get there. Your core values talks about the success criteria. How are you going to measure success along the way? So take, for example, my vision is I want to travel from Lagos, Nigeria to Ogun State in Nigeria. Okay, that's my vision. My mission is how am I going to take this trip? I can take a boat. If there's a boat, I'm not sure I can get a boat. I can take a train. I can take. I can use a car. I can use a bike. Now that is the mission. How do I want to achieve my vision? Now my core values will say that while I'm going on this journey, I need to ensure that I am always smiling. My smile is up on the journey. So what that means is, even if I completed my journey from Lagos to Ogun State, but I did not smile to everybody I met on the way, it was not success for me because it was not in line with my core values. And it is important to communicate your core values to people. Kanye West recently was de-billionaired. For some of us that knew what happened, okay? A couple of weeks back, he came out and he shared some things about his core values, about his values. A number of people did not agree with his values, and what happened? All the brands and all of that, as at that time he was worth about $2 billion, right? All the brands he was working with, what did they do? Overnight, they all withdrew their business from him. So he was de-billionaired in a couple of days. Not because his intelligence reduced, not because he did not have a vision. What's changed? He communicated a core value that did not resonate with the people. So in the same way, if you communicate a core value that resonates with people, they will buy your brand. It is very important. So develop those and communicate those. Create a brand narrative that resonates with customers all over the world. It is very, very key. And then craft a global marketing strategy that speaks to your target audience in different regions. I told you in my own example, I wanted to work with the international community, right? And I had to get a coach that was from the international community that I was trying to reach as well, which is very, very key. You need to understand them, and then I was able to craft a strategy for these people. It is very, very key. And I mean, right now on my coaching program, I have people signed from all over the world. I have white guys on my coaching program. I have Africans on my coaching program. I have Indians on my coaching program. Now, am I where I want to be? No. But I'm not where I used to be. When I started off, I was a local brand. It was only people within my locality I was working with. Gradually, I moved to become an international brand. I started having coaching clients that were Nigerians from the international community. Now I have grown to become a global brand. Well, I'm still developing, but right now I have different people from different parts of the world that sign up onto my coaching program. And you would agree with me, it is not an easy thing for you to be a black man in Europe and to have these guys to sign up onto your coaching program that I want you to coach me. That says a lot, but it comes with intentionality. You have to build it. It didn't start overnight. You have to build it. If you look at all my programs, Mr. Bolaji was talking about the conference I had in London. I had a conference in London about 2-3 weeks ago. Take a look at those that were on my conference. You will always see a blend from different nationalities. My next conference, I'll talk to you about that very shortly, in Dublin. You would see different nationalities on it. Why? Because I know my audience. I know the audience I'm trying to target. There are certain people that they would never attend any of your programs if they don't see their kind on the flyer. And that's how things work. We are emotional people. We are social beings. So we want to associate with our own kind. It is natural. It is normal. Let's run very quickly. I've got a few more minutes to go. I'm going to try and wrap this up very, very quickly. The next thing is have an online presence. I think Funke talked about this. Have a website that is optimized for global audiences. Okay. I think it was who was mentioning that yesterday. I think it was Mr. Bolaji that was talking about that yesterday. When I started my program as well, I used to price all my value, all my products in Naira and everything. But I realized, okay, if I want to reach an international market, the guy in Dallas does not understand what Naira is. Some of them, you'll be surprised, they've never heard of that currency before. So am I pricing? That means I have segmented them. I don't even want them to buy my product. So if I wanted them, what was the most internationally accepted currency? It was dollars. So right now, all my products are packaged in dollars. However, I'll tell you something very interesting. Late last year, I was trying to get a company I was trying to do some business with a company in the UK, right, in London. So as usual, all my packages are priced in dollars and everything, and I sent it to them. One of the contacts that I had in the company called me quietly and he said to me, you need to understand that this is the UK. Their pride is the pound. That British pound, the pound sterling, is the pride of the British people. The reason why they pulled out of EU was because they wanted to protect that pound. As far as they're concerned, that's the greatest currency in the world. So if you send a proposal to a British man and you put dollar on it, forget it, they will not even listen to you. He called me and he told me, oh, I'm learning. I had to withdraw my proposal and change all the currencies to pounds for that audience. These are things you need to understand. If you want to reach a global audience, you need to be aware of all of these things. Create localized content for different regions. Okay, leveraging social media to connect with customers. One of my own personal targets, I'm not sure how quickly I can achieve this, is I want to start coaching people in different languages. So I want to learn at least 3 foreign languages. I've started learning Irish. Why? Like I said, I want to be an international brand. So if I have someone from Spain that wants to get me as a coach, but he doesn't speak English, how can I be of service to him if I cannot speak Spanish? So I need to learn Spanish. I need to learn French. I'm learning Irish because I'm in Ireland, but I want to learn at least 3 other languages so that I can be of value to those that do not speak my language. Think global. Let's run. Build a strong brand reputation. That's very key. Establish trust, credibility in the new market. One of the things I did when I moved to Ireland here was I started, do you know what it was? I held my first conference in Dublin less than 9 months after I relocated here. You can imagine a young guy, I just relocated here, I didn't know anybody, and I decided to hold a conference here. And this conference was hugely attended by even people from this nationality. Why? I have been building this credibility. Now, my conferences have developed to the point where I'm having these guys send me emails every day. Oh, I want to be on your next conference. Oh, I want to speak at your conference. Many of these guys, I don't even look for them anymore. If I had not built a credibility, a reputation to an extent, these guys will not be coming to speak to me. They will not be coming to ask to speak on my conference. In the Dublin conference, I'm having the Lord Mayor of Dublin speak at that conference. If she had not seen my reputation over the years or the very few months that I've been in Ireland, she would not say she wants to come and speak at my conference. So it is important to build a strong brand reputation. Develop strategies for managing your brand reputation online and all of that. I'm sure Mr. Emeka talked a lot about that. Develop partnerships and collaborations to expand your reach, which is part of what I'm leveraging on now. So I'm in contact with a number of people. I'm working on certain partnerships so that I can expand my reach here in this environment where I am. Okay, that was my timer that I just went. So I know I have a couple of minutes to go. I know my time is up, so I'm just going to try and wrap this up very quickly. The next thing is number 5. Measure your success. I've talked a lot about this, how to measure. So have your KPIs, your key performance indicators. What are the things you're looking out for? What are you measuring? Are you measuring we just heard about customer experience and all of that. It is very important. Use analytics to track your brand's performance in different regions. The thing is, we are in an era where technology helps us to do a number of things. Even on this program right now, when we are done with this, Mr. Bolaji can take up the video and track the performance. How many people came on this conference? How many people how many people watched for 30 minutes? How many people came in and went out? What kind of devices did they join from? Were they mobile devices? Where did they join from? You can track all of those things. And it is very key to help you to plan and then how to pivot to strategy based on the insights that you gather. So these are the things that would help you. We've talked about 5 keys. So first of all, we looked at the keys to develop a brand. And then now we've talked about the key to develop a global brand. There's so many things to talk about, but I'm very conscious of my time. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you very much.